This little boy doesn't want to be put down. I had him at 16, got pregnant at 15. Let's talk about how I told people in my life and how they reacted. Okay, so starting with Caleb's mom, because we told her first. So I was over at Caleb's house at the time around 8 p.m. and we had called her up into Caleb's bedroom, and he just kind of handed her the pregnancy test. She reacted the best out of everyone we told because she kind of understood where we were coming from. She had Caleb at 17. So she was the most supportive. She understood what I was going through. Tried to help me get set up on WIC. Helped me with my appointments. She was the most supportive. Caleb's dad, I think we just texted him, honestly. I don't remember. But we lived 3 hours away from him at the time. And he didn't really answer or say anything. He wasn't mad. He just, doesn't like awkward things, is what Caleb says at least. So, yeah, that's kind of all we did to tell him. Now, getting into my mom and dad, we told them very similar to how we told Caleb's mom. It was around 8 p.m. and about time for me to go home for the night anyways. And I had asked Caleb's mom if she would come with us to my house because I was terrified how my parents would react, and I knew they wouldn't react badly if she was there. Because we had told her, like I said, I think about a week prior. So we all drove over there, and we had discussed a little plan on how we were going to tell them before going over. But let's just say the plan wasn't followed. Caleb did not follow it. He had other plans. So he just walked in and kind of handed the pregnancy test to my mom. And I don't think she was surprised because she knew I hadn't been taking my birth control. Didn't really cry or anything. My dad started crying, and they both just kind of asked me a bunch of questions and how I was feeling. How am I going to support a baby? What am I going to do? And yeah, she never went through pregnancy. Me and my brother were adopted, so she just kind of had a lot of questions for me, about it. Friends, I went online right when I found out, so I didn't get to, tell any friends in person. Everyone kind of found out through gossip, so I ended up posting on my social media to clear up the gossip, so people knew it was coming from me. With grandparents and cousins and stuff, kind of all just found out from my mom. I didn't really tell anyone myself. So yeah, that's kind of how everyone was told and reacted, summed up. I found out I was pregnant at 15 years old. Let's talk about some rules my mom and dad had for me and Caleb before this all happened. We were not allowed to hang out with the lights off and LEDs on for some reason. My mom would always come in and turn the lights on if we were sitting in a room. And along with that, we were allowed to hang out in our bedrooms or a basement, but the doors had to be open. My mom had an app where she could access everything on my phone and look at everything I was doing, including our text messages and all the things like that, and my Snapchat hidden private stuff. So she would go on and watch what I was doing, what we were talking about. We were not allowed to hang out alone unless there was another friend there. So Caleb's friend, one of my friends, a few friends, whatever. And that was later on in our relationship, about 3 months before I found out I was pregnant. We were allowed sleepovers, and we would go on trips together, with family, but we weren't allowed to sleep in the same room. But once again, later on in our relationship, that did change, and our parents would get us a whole separate room for just ourselves. I had to be home by 9 p.m. sharp, and with that, my phone had screen time and would turn off at 10, so we weren't allowed to sleep on the phone or anything. And that's pretty much all I can think of. I know there was more, but yeah, I can do a part 2 because I do have more.
Hi, my name's Kylie.
My name's Marissa, and we're sisters.
This is day 1 of posting until I can afford surrogacy.
And hopefully I can carry for her.
On February 6th, she was in labor, and we were both pregnant, 12 weeks apart. And while she was in labor, my uterus ruptured, which caused me to almost lose my life, and unfortunately we lost my daughter Harper.
So my son Brooks and his cousin Harper were both born on February 6th, 2 hours apart?
2 hours and 45 minutes apart. While I was supposed to be her support person in labor, things dramatically took a turn for the worse, and I was rushed into the OR where I lost almost 3 liters of blood.
So while I was pushing, we'll go into a lot of things happened before that we could say were crazy, coincidences?
Coincidences, little God winks as we like to call them, but lots of dates lined up.
In a crazy way.
The fact that she was in the hospital getting induced while this happened to me, I've been told saved my life. But now My husband and I are trying to push forward and grow our family because the doctors have told me it's unsafe for me to carry another pregnancy, especially since I was only 25 weeks pregnant when this all happened.
Mm-hmm. So follow along on our journey as we hope to make enough money through posting on TikTok, where I can have another cute little cousin, because she has a 3-year-old son already, and hopefully we can make a dream of hers to have another kid, and me have another cute little cousin, and he have another little cousin to play with here Earthside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Kylie.
And I'm Marissa, and we're sisters.
And this is day 2 of posting on our journey to hopefully be able to afford surrogacy and she be my carrier. So today I wanted to just go into a little bit more of the story time on what happened in the couple hours leading up to going to the OR.
And why it's completely unsafe for you to
Have another pregnancy.
Yeah.
So the pain started shortly later. Her water broke. They moved me into the triage room. We're trying to figure out what was going on, why I was having 10 out of 10 pain even after getting morphine, Dilaudid, and fentanyl. And essentially they had cleared me OB-wise. So they thought my pregnancy was fine. They were working me up for appendicitis, for gallstones, for kidney stones, for anything that wasn't OB related. And then I eventually passed out. My parents kept me from hitting the floor when I was going to the bathroom. And at that point, when they got me back in bed, my blood pressure had dropped to the 80s. And the doctor was not able to find my baby's heartbeat. So the only way that they could find anything was via ultrasound. And it was estimated that her heart rate was anywhere between 50 to 80, which if she was already born at that point, they would have been doing compressions on her. So we rushed to the OR. In the OR, I was kind of in and out of consciousness at the beginning stages. It was very frantic, but I did hear the doctor say, just splash her. So basically what they did was opened up a couple bottles of betadine, and I felt them just pour it on my stomach. There wasn't time for me to get an epidural or a spinal. So once the anesthesiologist got there from a different case that she was in, she put me under full general anesthesia. I had a breathing tube. I had all the things. And they were able to cut Harper out. I think the first incision was at 9:02 and she was out at the first incision was at 9:01 and she was out at 9:02. But the doctor told me that when she cut my skin incision and got down to the fascia and everything else, Harper was basically sitting there in her amniotic sac. She was not in the uterus like normal. The amniotic sac was intact, which is the only reason that Harper was even alive at that point. So they delivered Harper, gave her over to the NICU team, delivered the placenta, and at that point she found a couple football-sized clots, and she had to suck out a lot of blood from my belly. It says that she took out between like 2.5 and 3 liters. They weren't able to exactly measure because of all of the clots and the blood in the laps and everything like that. But that's what it's estimated, and the normal human body only has 4.5 liters of blood. So I lost over half of my blood, which led to a mass transfusion of uncross-matched blood. If you're not familiar with that, I got 8 different blood products of blood that was just O negative and safe to give it to anybody because they didn't have time to wait and see what my blood type was. But then after the clots, they finally found my uterus, which in a normal C-section would have been shut and had the baby inside. Mine was wide open.
Cut down the middle, basically, like open down the middle.
Open down the middle where I had a previous incision from a 25-weeker also, but from the fundus down to the lower uterine segment. So the whole thing was just cut wide open, and that's why it's unsafe for me to carry another pregnancy. So even though my ovaries and everything still work, I cannot get pregnant again without risking my life and my child's life again.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are on our surrogate journey, hopefully.
All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Kylie.
And I'm Marissa, and we're sisters.
So this is day 2 of posting until we can hopefully afford surrogacy, and maybe she will be able to be my carrier. So in this video, we're going to address a few comments that we've seen, just questioning like a cost breakdown. Why does it still cost so much if she's willing to carry for me? And then the turkey baster method. So, one of the things that we don't know exactly right now is the cost breakdown. I do have a request for a consultation out for a IVF facility in Dallas, so hopefully I will be hearing back from them soon, and then we can have an appointment up there to see how much roughly their facility is.
Because, so what they're going to have to do is take her egg and her husband's sperm and fertilize it and go through the IVF process.
Yeah, so even though she is willing to be a carrier for us, it still will cost a ton of money, because IVF in itself is $20,000 to $30,000, and that's if you're successful on the first time. And every embryo transfer after that, if you're not successful in the first time, can be upwards of $10,000. Additionally, when you're doing surrogacy, you still have to pay for lawyers on both sides, so legal fees, health insurance for her, and then generally intended parents, which it would be me, would take out life insurance policies on the surrogate just in case anything catastrophic were to happen. So even with a surrogate offering to do it for free, it's still upwards of like $100,000 in some cases. I will say, as this comment mentions, have you looked into other countries? We haven't looked into other countries yet, but I do know that there's a IVF clinic in St. Louis, Missouri that is known to be a little bit cheaper. So my husband and I are potentially going to look into that as well, just to see if that would save us a little bit.
And then a lot of people have been commenting about the turkey baster method. So if we did that, that would then be using my egg, and the child would biologically be mine rather than hers. And since she still has the option of it being biologically hers, she just can't carry it. That's why she's looking into more or less going through IVF.
Yeah. So with the uterine rupture that I had, my eggs are still perfectly fine. My ovaries are perfectly fine. It's just my uterus that is unsafe to carry another pregnancy for both me and a potential baby. And also she is more comfortable carrying as a surrogate and giving up the child if it's not biologically related to her. So it's kind of respecting both of our wishes to do it that way, even though it does cost more money, obviously. But yeah.
And then we've also been seeing, this comment also says, what about a GoFundMe? Right now, we don't have a GoFundMe set up, but Kylie's Venmo is in my bio. It's at Kylie Aldrich. So if you feel like you would like to support her in that way, you're welcome to. You definitely don't have to. Liking and sharing and reposting our video and following along is honestly helping us more than anything, so we can try to join the TikTok creator program and make money through views that way rather than people having to donate. But if you feel led to donate, her Venmo is in my bio.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see y'all tomorrow.
I just recently had to fire a client. I've been doing this client's nails for about 3 years, and she was a regular every 2 weeks, actually every 3 weeks. She got a short builder gel manicure. That's it. She was late to every appointment, probably 10 minutes or more, a little bit, 10, 15, every single time. We have a policy, a 15-minute late policy. I never charged it. It's $30 if you're 15 minutes or more late. I never charged it, and I never charge any of my clients that fee, because I feel like if it's not like a regular thing and you're a loyal customer, then I'm not going to charge you that fee if it's like a fluke thing. But she kept on doing this. This was like a repeating pattern over and over again. 10, 15 minutes late. Oh, it was a semi. Oh, it was a school bus. Oh, it was this. It didn't matter what time of the day it was, whether it was 8 a.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. She was always late. So on top of being late, she was super picky about her nails. She would get a short builder gel manicure. So by short, I mean literally like to the skin short, super crisp, super square. That's the way she liked it. So yeah, short builder gel manicure, nothing crazy, solid color usually. It should be super easy, super quick. It should be like 45 minutes tops to do this person's nails. It was taking me upwards of an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, to do a gel manicure on this client. And it was because she was so picky about the shape, picky about like the sharpness of her nails, which I completely understand. I'm very picky about my nails as well. I want them to be perfect. I pride myself on trying to be perfect with the nails. There was one day where she wanted nail art, and she wanted like something simple on her ring finger, and I had done the design. She looked at it. She didn't like it. She said, "Can you redo it?" No problem. Redid it. Still didn't like it. Redid it again. Still didn't like it. Whatever, it's a wash. So we get done, and I think at that time I was only charging $45 for a builder gel manicure, and this time I charged her $50, because even though she didn't get the nail art, ultimately I had spent 10 to 15 minutes doing this nail art. Even though she didn't get it, I wiped it off, I took it off, she didn't get it, I still had spent the time doing the nail art. So I charged her $50 instead of $45, and she questioned it. She wanted to know why I was charging that amount. Whatever, totally get it. But yeah, I charged her $50. She never tips, which is whatever. You know, like if I go to get a service done, I'm tipping 20%, especially if I really enjoyed the service and I really liked it. You know, as much as she's saying that she loves me as a nail tech, she's always coming back. She's been coming for 3 years. I've never received not one single tip from this girl. And I probably wouldn't take it to offense, but, you know, I have other clients that don't tip. Never have tipped. And it's fine, because, like, I enjoy their company, and they're so cool, and we shoot the shit, and we have such a good time. But one time she came in, and she told me how she usually tips her hairdresser. And it had me feel a type of way. I don't know. It's like, you tip your hairdresser, but not your nail lady who you've been coming to for 3 years. So I was just feeling a little frustrated. I don't know, like, am I not good enough? Like, you don't like the work that I'm doing, but you still keep on coming back and you still praise me and say I'm the best around. So it was the day of her appointment time. She was supposed to come in 10 minutes late. Like always, 10 minutes late. She sits in my chair. I'm doing her nails. And I'm just like, I have so much anxiety while I'm doing her nails, because I know that she's going to be picky about the shape, picky about the length, that she's going to tell me that something isn't right before I even get to it. You know, like when you're filing someone's nail or you're doing something and someone tells you to do it and you're like, bro, I'm in the middle of doing it. That is so frustrating. It was getting to the point where the days that she had her appointments, I was getting anxiety. It was like, it was truly giving me anxiety knowing that she was in my book later that day. And I got to the point where I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this to myself? Why, you know, this is my business. These are my books. I have boundaries, and I'm not even following my own boundaries. So I sat on it and I thought about it for weeks. Like, should I fire her? Should I keep her? You know, like, money's money. I need it. But at the end of the day, not all money is good money. So I texted her up about a week later, and I told her that I am cutting down my scheduling list and that I will be reducing the amount of people that I have and that she will be one of the clients. And I told her, you know, I was very vague about it. I just told her that I wasn't accepting her as a client anymore, that we were canceling all future appointments. You know, I told her it wasn't personal, because ultimately it's not personal, but it's because it's business. It's literally just business based. It's not because I don't like her as a person, but because these appointments were causing me stress and giving me anxiety. And why am I doing that to myself as a nail service provider? Like, that is the dumbest thing that I could ever do. So ultimately, I fired her. And now I'm at peace, knowing I never have to do her nails again. knowing that I will never have to deal with someone super critical, super opinionated, rude, late to appointments, never tips. I never have to deal with that again. And I am so happy. So what we need to take away is that as service providers, we need to have boundaries with people. For the sake of your mental health, for the sake of your anxiety, for the sake of being in business. You know, we are our own bosses. We get to choose who we take, who we don't take. And I think maybe she was a little shocked when I sent her that text. But at the end of the day, I'm my own boss and I can do whatever I want. And now I feel so much better knowing that I will never have to see her again. So if this is your sign that you needed to fire someone, then go ahead and cut that bitch off.
Let's talk about things that my friends have said about me or to me and I found out about. I was constantly being made fun of for my smile lines, these ones, and my friends would tell me to smile and then constantly laugh right after. This girl that I became like really good friends with, on a day that I left class, she told one of my friends that she hoped I'd kill myself. She also said that I was a trash volleyball player even though she made the B team and I made the A team, and this was in like middle school. I've been told on multiple occasions by multiple people that I'm either really annoying or that my laugh is really annoying. On my first year of playing volleyball, this girl that I was super close with, we were peppering at lunch in like a circle, and she looked straight at me afterwards and said, "I hate people that are really bad at volleyball." Mind you, I was friends with this girl for like 3 years. In the 6th grade, that same girl I invited to my birthday party, and a bunch of other people that I invited were showing up late because they had sports, and she told me that I would have no friends. These girls that like genuinely bullied me, I one time stood up to them, or like I stood up about myself, and she told me, "You don't know what it's like to bully people to be popular." Huh? In like the 7th grade, we had a school group chat, and this person that I was friends with sent a clip of the 600-pound life girls and said, "Look, it's Morgan." People also just constantly talked shit about me on that group chat. In the summertime, I was volunteering at my school for like a summer camp, and some of my friends were also volunteering. And one day I came with my hair curled, and they said in the group chat that I could actually see in, they knew I was in that group chat. They said that the curls that I wore that day looked like snakes. That same summer, I was constantly being made fun of for my neck. I'm honestly not sure why, but it was. In like middle school, I was told by this girl that I needed to start shaving my eyebrows because I have a horrendous unibrow. I was also told by a different person that I look like a man because I have a mustache, and she manipulated one of my friends into calling me Mustache Morgan. I've been told recently, actually, that my lip liner is scary. Another recent one is I've been told straight to my face that I look like a lesbian for the way that I dress. There was a point where I was just being completely cyberbullied, and I had maybe 2 friends, and then my parents took my phone, and so I had no way to talk to those 2 friends besides school. Most of these people I'm not friends with. There's a few that I actually am still friends with, but if people talk about you or to you like that, stand up for yourself or cut them off.
They really do always come back. This guy that I was seeing last year for literally 3 months, that's all I could last was 3 months. He was like actually my boyfriend. Like, we labeled it. I don't really know why I did that. That was like way too quick to be labeling it, but that was a lesson learned, and that's okay. He we did not end on good terms, like, at all. So we had dated for 3 months, from like August to like November-ish. He started to show his true colors like pretty early on, I would say, but I just so badly did not want to see it. So I was like blind to the red flags. But he was such an asshole, like in the way that he was like an asshole to like service people. Like I remember specifically we went to this resort to start off my birthday month. And we started dating in August. My birthday's in September. So I was like really impressed that he was like really going all out for my birthday. So to start out my birthday month, it was like Labor Day weekend. He like rented a room at a resort. Nobody's ever done anything like that for me before, like really show up in that way, which is whatever. So I was like stoked, but as soon as we got there, he started being so freaking rude and just like entitled to the staff. And I was just, I don't know, I clocked it, but I was like, I don't know, maybe this is just a one-off. Who knows? Wasn't a one-off. I then brought him to my, birthday trip, my 31st birthday trip. I was supposed to go on a solo trip to California, my favorite place in the world, Carlsbad, and I brought him with me, and he freaking ruined it. Like, he ruined my trip completely. He was so rude to every barista that we came in contact with. He was so rude to like all the wait staff for all the dinners. Like my actual birthday dinner, like I wanted a specific place in Carlsbad that like overlooks the water. Like I was so freaking excited. Like I just wanted to like look super cute. I bought like this really expensive dress. Like I just wanted a really good night. And I wore this dress that, again, super expensive dress that I was just going to dinner in, but I wanted to look pretty and I wanted to feel good. And he like didn't even like compliment me, like nothing. It was so weird. And then when we went to dinner, he was like ruining it by being so rude to everybody because his food was like taking a little long to come out. It wasn't a big deal. Like we're overlooking the water on my birthday, enjoying the freaking moment, and you're fucking ruining it. And like the whole time that we were there, like at the beach together, like he was like playing volleyball with randos instead of like hanging out with me, which is like fine. We don't have to hang out the entire time at all. But the entire time that we are at the beach together, you're choosing to like go play with some randos instead of like hanging out with your girlfriend on her birthday weekend that she invited you to come on this trip. Crazy. After that, he just like continued and he got worse, but towards me. Like he started to get like super mean and constantly like picking apart my body, picking apart what I do, how I do it. Just overall very unsupportive, and I had to cut it like real quick. Real quick. I had to cut that. But last night he texted me. We haven't really spoken since we broke up in November, like at all. I do see him around the gym. He like pretty quickly brought another girl to our gym, which I thought was real crazy, seeing as how it was like not even a month after we broke up. Not that it was like a huge relationship or anything like that. He did say that he loved me, which I thought was interesting. But he immediately brought a girl to the gym. So we really haven't spoken. Like he's constantly buzzing around, talking to girls at the gym, whatever. I genuinely could care less at this point because whoever he dates, I genuinely feel bad for. But last night he texted me. It was like 10:45 at night, and I wonder how I can like get it on the screen. But if I can get it on the screen, I'll be right here. But yeah, he texted me and he was like, I'm just gonna be like super blunt with you, but do you want to fool around on Friday? Sorry? Like, fool around? Like, first of all, why do you think that you can come text me that months later after everything. Two, like, I don't know. I was really taken aback. First of all, I have all my exes with gravestones on their contact name, so I had no idea who it was. When he texted me that, I had to ask him, who is this? Which I just loved that so much. It felt really good. So he had explained who he was. Loved it. And then when he clarified, he like was giving me a compliment on like everything that's going on in my life. Like I got a new job coaching at a gym here in Tucson, and I'm a Pilates instructor. So he's like, oh, it's so and so. Congratulations on like your new jobs. Clearly you're watching me and clearly you're stalking me. I went through my views and my Instagram stories just in case, because I don't really go through them very much, but I was curious like if he had looked at him, because he doesn't follow me anymore. He doesn't block me, but he doesn't follow me, and he hasn't like really liked anything or looked at any of my shit. Still hasn't. So clearly you are watching what I'm doing, just in a secretive way, which is also weird. So I don't think guys are any better about that. I think they still stalk you even after you guys breaking up. I feel like guys always say like girls are the crazy ones and like we stalk, but men do it too. And yeah, they literally always come back. If you're watching this, bye. I literally never want to talk to you ever again.
Hey, welcome to the first story time. Only feels right to talk about my fiance and how we met and how he came in when I was pregnant, stepped up for me, and baby. So, I'm gonna start at the beginning, how we met and everything up until now. Baby's 3 weeks old. We're figuring out this whole parent thing. This is totally unscripted yap sesh. This is exactly how I do therapy, in my car with my phone set up right here, so come along. So my fiance and I met at work. We both worked at Dutch Bros, and I met the best group of friends when I moved back here and started working at the Dutch Bros here. So I moved back here when I got pregnant because my baby daddy is horribly abusive, and it was a situation that I should have left like so many times. I think everyone's been in like some sort of toxic relationship to some extent, that everyone tells you over and over like you deserve better, you need to leave, and you're like, I know, but like I love him. Yeah, so that was that situation. And then I got pregnant on birth control, the next one on implant, so be careful, ladies. But it was such a blessing because it ended up making me realize like it's not just me, and I can't choose to like not care about myself in this situation anymore. I have to get out for my son, because like 3 days after I found out I was pregnant and told him, he gave me 2 black eyes. So I was like, okay, it's time to go. So anyways, came back here, started working for Dutch Bros out here, met my amazing group of friends, which my fiance was like in that mutual group of friends. Started really just like, my goal was just focus on myself, focus on my baby, get my bag, which like, sorry, Dutch Bros wasn't doing it. I love it though. But yeah, just focus on myself and hang out with my friends. And we started hanging out as friends. He invited me to go to the gym a few times because I'm a certified personal trainer, and he like wanted to grow his legs, and I was like, okay, sure, I'll train you. Okay. So started like going to the gym together, and then we ended up just like spending so long at the gym because we would talk for so long, like deep life convos, and then ended up just relating on a lot, and I loved hanging out with him, and like just we developed this very deep care for each other. And he had a girlfriend at the time that like I met him, so obviously I wasn't trying to be like, hey. And also like I was at the mindset where like I'm pregnant, no one is
no one's trying to get with that, you know? No one's trying to be a dad. No one's out here being like, daddy's home. Like, no one's doing that. So, focus on myself. We went to the gym, hung out, got really close, started caring for each other very deeply. And yeah, that was kind of the beginning of it all. Kind of long-winded. This is part 1. Go to part 2. I don't know how many parts it's going to be, but I will tell you what, I'm not going to make you wait days and days for each part. So, keep tuning in. Ask your questions. I'll answer them in the next video. Okay, how I met my fiance part 2. So we started hanging out. He had a girlfriend, and I was pregnant, so I wasn't really trying to, like, get into anything. Just really enjoyed hanging out with him, and enjoyed hanging out with all my friends at the time, because, like, if you've ever been in a toxic, abusive relationship, you know, like, how much they isolate you. And so, like, friend time was not a thing for me, and I was, like, convinced that, like, I was the most annoying, like, worst person in the world. And so it was really nice to, like, meet friends and be like, no, wait, like, I'm not a terrible person. That was, like, so much manipulation and abuse. People actually do like me, and I love hanging out with other people, so I was really enjoying that. And then we started hanging out, going to the gym, and then the night that everything kind of started was he had broken up with his girlfriend, and was kind of like going through it with that. And I genuinely was not like, okay, it's my time. Like, no, I felt so bad for him, because when I tell you this man has, like, the biggest, sweetest heart, like, he's very sensitive, but very much, like, handles himself so maturely and strongly, and, like, that's what makes a man, okay? Men, you don't need to be all, like, tough guy, right? He feels his emotions, but he deals with them. And I could tell he was just really, really going through it. And I knew he hadn't eaten, like, all day. And I was like, okay, like, the least I can do is, like, bring you some food. So I was like, I'm already at the gym. I'm going to get In-N-Out after the gym. And let me bring you some. So I brought him some In-N-Out. And I was like, just gonna pull up and drop it off. And we ended up talking outside, like, by my car for a long time, like 2 hours. And then finally he was like, do you want to go inside? And I was like, yeah, let's go inside, like, we're having a good conversation. And mind you, I had been in his apartment before, like, because he had just moved into that apartment and wanted help, like, decorating it. And we went shopping for, like, stuff, because I just moved into my apartment too. So we were like, yeah, we'll go, like, shopping for apartment stuff. So it wasn't weird to me that he was like, do you want to come inside? I was like, yeah, whatever. We've hung out in there, it's fine, we're friends. And so we go inside, just conversation keeps going. We're talking everything, religion, relationships, just so much life stuff, and we just agreed on so much stuff. Like, he was just so easy to talk to, and that was really what I needed in the moment. And I think what he needed too, because obviously he was, like, going through a breakup and everything. And it was like 5 o'clock in the morning by the time I realized how long we had been talking. And I was like, do you want me to leave? And he was like, no, like, you're not leaving now, like, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, like, I'll sleep on the couch, like, you can stay here. And I was like, okay, bet. But I was like, probably won't even sleep, like, we're talking so much. Anyways, we ended up falling asleep, not on the couch, in the same bed, and it was really nice. Like, we just, like, cuddled. Like, I hadn't been held close like that in a long time, so it was really nice. And there was, like, 0 expectations on either end, so that was really nice. And then we haven't spent a night apart since, so that's the night that it all started. So haven't spent a night apart since that night. Since there was 0 expectations, that beginning part was just so nice. Just because, like, everything just flowed so well. We just already had this deep care for each other, and there was no need to really be like, what are we? Where is this going? What's going on? Like, it just happened. It all just happened so naturally. And it was kind of like both of us were in the place where, like, we didn't want to get super attached. Like, we didn't want to put those expectations on each other because I knew he had just gotten out of a relationship. I wanted to respect that time and space that he needed for that. And I am, like, pregnant, and I didn't want him to be, like, pressured to, like, step into that. But also I didn't want to settle for anything less than the best for me and my baby. So yeah, we just were really, really enjoying each other's presence. Kind of like, it ended up being like the next day it was like, okay, like, that was like fun, let's hang out. Like, I don't know about spending the night or whatever. I think I ended up spending the night that night though. And then it was late at night, and we had already agreed, like, we're not gonna stay the night. But then he was like, I kind of want to see you, and I was like, I kind of want to see you too. So then I just headed over to his house and stayed the night. And so that was that. And him and his girlfriend also, like, they were on and off for a couple years, and he was open with me about that, just had opened up to me about it like a few times before, just saying like he really cared for her and was scared to like let her go because she was such a big part of his life for so long. But he knew it wasn't good. He knew that he like wasn't giving her what she needed, and she treated him pretty badly. So yeah, I was a sounding board for a lot of that, and it was kind of like scary to me because I was like, damn, like, he just got out of kind of a like huge relationship, and I didn't know her. I'm not the type of girl to be like, I got your man. So I was really trying to respect that space for him and for her, and I did not want to get caught up in any more fucking drama because I had just left like a really complicated situation. So yeah, all in all, it was really nice because it was easy and it flowed and it was just great company. And yeah, that was that. I'm gonna go wash my hair and put some makeup on, and then I'll make some more because your girl's looking chopped. Welcome back. We're talking about how I met my man. So I mentioned earlier that we worked together and we were in like a mutual group of friends, which are a lot of like the people that I work with. And Dutch Bros has a very strict like policy against dating within your shop. It's a no, even though everybody getting with everybody. I don't know if you've heard anything about Dutch Bros, but I think that's pretty common, like no matter where you are. Like, I don't know, it's just a weird thing. But we were super open and honest with our manager about it, and she was like appreciative of that, and she liked us both. So it was kind of a like, okay, thank you, like, see where it goes, let me know, we're gonna have to transfer one of you, but just take your time, figure it out, we'll figure out a plan. So that was super nice. And then we didn't tell a lot of our friends because we were just keeping things low key because of work too, and because we were just enjoying each other's company, and also just trying to figure out where it was going, just because if it was to take off, like, we knew it would be serious because I'm pregnant, and we are both Christian too, we're both religious, so we both had the mindset of like dating to marry, and not really like, we don't have time to like fuck around. Like, we have been in serious relationships before, we have been in not serious relationships before, we're growing up, like, I'm having a baby, so like, this is real life, and we were both in that mindset. So once we started talking to our manager, we were like, ugh, I think it's kind of getting serious. We kept it professional at work always, and then we ended up going to a college football game in our town with a couple of friends, and those were the first friends that we told, and they were like, this makes sense. And that was really nice to hear. So that was exciting. And then things just kind of like unfolded naturally after that. Like, people started finding out, but it was perfect because it was kind of like one by one, so it wasn't a like, like, did you hear? Like, no, it was just kind of, everyone was like, okay, cool. And everyone was really supportive, so that was really, really cool. And then I started hanging out with his family, and that's when it obviously started getting, like, really serious, because it was like, his mom and dad were like, you're gonna be a father, like, to this random child? Like, are you sure? But it wasn't like they came at me being like, no, like, you're gonna hold him back. It was like them telling him, like, okay, if you are gonna step up, like, you're all in, you're gonna step up, like, you can't just walk away from this girl, like, when the baby comes or whatever, like, you have to be all in. And then obviously I told them too, like, I support him, I love him, I support his dreams and goals, like, he's gonna finish school, he's gonna do this, like, that's non-negotiable. Like, I don't want me or the baby to hold him back either. And myself, like, you know, I really think, like, a baby doesn't have to just drastically change your life. Like, I still am gonna live my own life just with my little bestie. So yeah, started getting serious, and then we started going on trips together, and that's when he asked me out. That'll be in the next video. And then I'll also talk about how we got engaged 4 months after we met, 3 months after we made things official. So we were moving and grooving, and yeah, we'll talk about that in later videos.
All right, do you want to hear a crazy story? Okay, so I don't know why I just thought of this, and I just wanted to share it with someone. So in my early 20s, I worked at a bar in Joliet, Illinois, and I worked there for quite a few years, and we had every Tuesday was Bingo and Taco Tuesday, and me and my coworker, we worked that shift every Tuesday together for a couple years, and we had this regular that used to come in every single Tuesday with him and a couple of, like, sister and someone else. And he was a regular, and he was known, but not for, like, the good reasons. He was just, he used to take, this was the worst. I mean, there was a lot of things that he did, but the worst was he would take out his dentures and then put them on the bar, but not like on a napkin or a plate. And every single week, my coworker would be like, you can't put your teeth on the bar, bro. And he just every week did not understand. Okay, come back for part 2. So every single week he is putting his dentures on the bar. That's one of the many things that he would do. He would already get, like, the Taco Tuesday deal, which then it was $1.50 for beef or chicken. I think it was like $2 steak. And then he was getting $1.50 bottles. And then he would try and use the Groupon. We didn't like pepper, and we gave away, or not gave away, but, like, we had complimentary chips and queso, and he would not like if there was pepper on the tortilla chips. He was just not pleasant, and it gets even better. So I stopped working at the bar. Then I moved to Phoenix, Arizona. Long story, I don't even want to get in. If you want to know how I end up working here, that's another time. But I have a full-time job, but I end up working at another bar here in Arizona, like, once a month, and it's only a Saturday shift, and it's, like, very random. I'm just kind of, like, helping out. It's really, like, it's fun, like, it's extra money at that point and just fun to do it. And I'm working, and I see someone walk in, and I'm like, there's no way. And it's him. And if you want to hear all about, like, that encounter, please come back for part 3.
I'm your Uber driver. Get in.
I didn't order an Uber.
We've got one now.
I'm good, bro.
Oh my.
Okay, so part 3. So I am now in Phoenix, Arizona, and immediately I know like that's him coming up to my bar, and I'm the only bartender. It's a small bar, and it just happened that my husband is there that day, and now he is never. Okay, we have a nickname for this guy, but and I'm like, and I can't like say that that's him, so. Finally, I tell the guy like who I am. Do you recognize me? Oh my gosh, and I'm just thinking like, oh my gosh, it's just wild. So then him and my husband are talking, and he still has no clue. Like my husband has no clue that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is him. He thinks that I'm excited, but it was crazy when he left. Like when that regular left, I'm like, tell my husband, like, that is, okay, I'm just going to say it. His name, we called him Toothless Wonder, was what me and my coworker called him. So, I'm like, that was Toothless Wonder. He's like, no way. And what was so funny is, like, he must have gotten his teeth done since I saw him in Illinois, because he was telling my husband, like, oh, I went and got my teeth done in Mexico. I don't even know how that got brought up. I don't even, but how crazy is that? Like don't even work there anymore, but it was just, how many bars are in Phoenix? And he just walked into the one that I'm working on that day. I had to tell my coworker, my old coworker, I immediately called him. He was like, what? It was insane. Cannot make that up. Like, it's just crazy. But if you want to know any other bar stories, I got lots of stories from when I worked there. So let me know if you want to hear some more.
Why would I apologize for something I did intentionally? Like, I knew it was going to hurt your feelings. That's why I did it. It'd be hypocritical of me to, like, care now.
I just have to share this with the internet because my mind is blown, and I feel like I'm in an episode of The Twilight Zone right now. Okay, so about 3 years ago, I went through a pretty rough breakup, and there was lying involved. It was bad, to the point where when I fully ended it, I fully cut off. I think about it sometimes, but I blocked a lot out of my brain, right? I matched with a guy on Riot maybe like 2 weeks ago. Just, as one does. And sorry, it's gonna take me a second to like get through this story because there's a lot of details and I'm still processing. We're texting, we're talking. We decide yesterday, we're like, okay, let's go on a date. And mind you, we follow each other on Instagram, and a couple of posts in, and this could have been nothing. Like, I didn't think anything of it. Someone I used to know that was like the girlfriend of my ex at the time, his roommate, liked one of his photos. And it's a small enough town, and I've been in LA for 10 years. Like, that part of town at least. I've been in LA for 10 years. Like, it's probably nothing. Like, people know each other, right? So I didn't think anything of it. We go on a date. Banter's good, he's sweet. I don't know if I'm like that into it, but we're like, okay, let's go hang out and watch a movie, sit on the couch, have some mochi, right? Chill. At some point in I'm gonna try to also be vague because I don't want all this to be too clear on who I'm discussing in case other people see it. He mentioned where he was from, and the state is southern and kind of obscure, and I was like, the roommate of my ex at the time is from there. And again, there's probably a lot of people from that state. This is Los Angeles. I didn't think that far into it, right? We go to his apartment. We walk in, and I'm going to say artwork on the wall as well as the couch is exactly like same setup, same everything from the apartment my ex lived in with his 2 roommates at the time. To where I was taken aback. I was like, I walked into my past immediately, and I saw the wall, and I saw the couch, and I immediately said, "Who's your roommate? Who's your roommate?" And I'm gonna give this kid his name. We're gonna say his name is James. He goes, "His name is James," and I immediately froze. Mind you, James is the former roommate of my ex. Like, when we were dating, I spent so much time with this kid. Like my ex was the problem. His two roommates were great. Like, we had a great time. You know what I mean? So, for all I know, I don't know if they're still friends with my ex. I was just like, am I being punked right now? Like, how? This is Los Angeles. How in the world did I end up on a date in the apartment of my ex's former roommate? Like, how is this happening? And so this sweet kid, he was so nice. He was like, I was literally spending over an hour like processing, and it was like PTSD essentially. Like, I had every like wave of emotion hit me in the face. I was shook, I was freaking out, and he was trying to figure out, like, because mind you, he moved to LA about 2.5 years ago, the guy I went on a date with, and this breakup and everything happened 3 years ago, so he would have never met me. But he's like, I'm trying to figure out who your ex is, like, and if I met him, you know? And then I said, he's the one who lied about where he was born and from. And he immediately was like, oh, you were that girlfriend. And I said, oh my God, how is this happening? So we're spending like an hour plus just like processing the fact that, like, how did this happen? How did this happen? LA is a big city. And so time goes on. I'm processing. He's being sweet. He's like, you're handling it so well. I don't know if I would have handled it well. And I'm like, you're being very kind for me to be thinking through all this and talking through all this right now. And who walks in? James, the roommate. And mind you, I had blonde hair back then. He had short hair. And now he has long hair and a mustache. Me and the guy I went on a date with, we're just sitting there like, is he gonna notice? And he says hi, he like grabs a couple things in the kitchen, yada yada yada. It just kind of like notices that we're both being weird, and he was like, what's your name? And I say Alexa, and he goes, and he steps back. He was like, oh my God. I was like, I know. And I went like this. He was like, as soon as you put your hands over your mouth when you said your name, I was taken back in time. And again, he wasn't the problem. The other roommate wasn't the problem. It was fully my ex. So we were like, how are you? Oh my God. Like, and he made it very clear, very quick. He was like, I don't talk to him anymore. I still have trust issues from that. And I was like, me too. Yep. He was like, how's your brother? I still follow him on Instagram. How's your cat? Because he cat sat for me once. Like, and we spent so much time together. I was in that relationship for a long time, and they lived together. And we both look so different now. I was like, we were both blown away. But I will say, God is good. It was, and he also said, he was like, was the artwork on the wall giving you PTSD? And I was like, yeah. That was crazy. And it was nice to catch up, and just because when everything went down with that breakup and that friendship breakup on their end, we didn't talk to each other. There was like, not that I needed closure on a friend level, like he was there, they were his friends, you know what I mean? But it was insane being able to like talk about it and be like, I know I wasn't crazy and I wasn't the one in the wrong in that relationship and in that whole situation, but it's good to hear from someone who was also involved in their own way that, like, no, that was insane. And just have the opportunity to like kind of reminisce on the good stuff. And I'm going to take it as God's reminder in a healing way that I'm allowed to have the good memories, because I blocked the good and the bad all out pretty much. So there were things that we were talking about and bringing up where it was like, oh my God, like, we had a good time. We had fun. It was honestly very healing. The guy I went on a date with was so nice and supportive during all of that. Will I be going out with him further? I doubt it. And it's not personal. It wasn't like a incredible connection either, and thank God, because like there's no way I'm trying to date the same friend group. It felt like I was being punked. That was a full setup. That was insane. I walked into the living room and I saw everything that I needed to see, and I said, who's your roommate? And then I see a photo of James on the fridge, and I'm like, oh my God. And I can't get over it because it's one of the best stories. Like, I'm far enough out of it, and I've healed, and God is so good. But, oh my God. That happened last night, and then I had to go to work today. I will never be able to believe how small this planet is. And I'm like, Lord, what was the purpose of that? And hopefully a little healing and ability to reminisce on the good times of that era, because there were great times. And it mostly had to do with the friends and like us all hanging out and like vibing all the time. So I am just blown away. And his reaction to seeing me, we were both like, oh my God, how did this happen? And then I called my parents, and they were blown away. They were like, are you okay? First of all. Second of all, that is incredible. How did that happen? What an amazing story. And now I have a great story to tell for the rest of my life, because I will never get over this. And I still never want to see my ex. Great.